putting against salt and rice.
Well, you have raised a lot of issues here that I feel need to be addressed. If Kufo here, Mr. Obasi, is talking about strategy and that the opposition is not strategic enough, and all they do, is granting exclusive interviews for or making unnecessary headlines on the papers and all of that, and they are not strategic. Do you think it's justifiable enough to say that?
First of all, I'm going to first say that what my co-panelist was saying is, first of all, is true. But there are so many things that he himself, as a president of a political party, need to understand. That the ruling party has already, by the minds of the ministers and the authorities and the administration. For example, take like CRP, my political party, my well-structured party that I am into. Now we have granted so many authorizations to have a rally so that we can discuss to the youth on our political idea and our strategy to win 2025 election. But the authorities have always been refusing, and they have been threatening us that if we go out, you see the gendarmes, the police, the army, and all these military people will be behind us. Look like last time when Ekamto was doing his political rally. You saw how they were tear gas and so many of them were being imprisoned. So you see now these political parties, opposition, now have to be going on a newspaper and the rise because of
that is where they find their voice.
Let me come in.
No, they find their voice there because they feel insecure in Cameroon. Okay. Look like in Senegal, last time we were talking, look like the opposition won the election, a 44 years old child.
Okay, no, but
he came out from prison.
From prison and he won the election. And you see how the majority youth are there, are very participative in. And
but beside the rallies, which political parties as well as the ruling party actually put in place as just one of the strategies, is this all that there is to the other strategies that could be?
When you give bread and sardine to a youth, take bread and sardine and go and vote for me, or move 5,000, go and vote for me for that day, you are there for 7 years. 5,000 will feed that particular 5,000. You have to know that CPDM and the other opposition who are aligning with the CPDM have also been how can I put it? They have been bought already. Mm-hmm. Because like my co-panelist Joe will be telling me that and so on. He himself has been bought by the CPDM. He himself knows that.
Mabel, please, can I say something here? Okay. My brother, you shouldn't. I've listened to you talk, and I discovered that you already have this negative mindset about the CPDM. First of all, you need to understand that being the party that is ruling, it has certain merits and advantages.
Merits of having advantages. No, excuse me. When I say merit of
CPDM, being the ruling party, you cannot by any means tell that they are on the same platform. As long as CPDM is the ruling party, it has a greater perspective when it comes to the situation of the country. Now, what I'm saying is this: there is what we call an opposition. There is what we call human rights. Look at, there is what we call human rights. Most Cameroonians are not aware of they know their rights, but they don't know how to exercise their rights.
By saying about the fact that opposition,
you talk about that when they want to carry out the demonstration. He says when they want to carry out the demonstration, sometimes they are not permitted because they have ulterior motives.
By what?
Look at, for example,
by ulterior motives. What
ulterior motives?
Okay, now, before you get the ulterior motives, let me ask: is it forbidden or out of being necessary that, or out of off tangent, that political parties have their rallies?
It is normal. It is a civic right. It is a civic right.
Let me try this.
I ask the question, Mr. Obasi.
Yes.
Is it off tangent still that in other countries or in Cameroon, political parties are supposed to have their peaceful protests?
Sure, it is a civic right by every Cameroonian
and parties. Ulterior motives. How does you as a MRC or CPDM
yes,
stand at a distance to just judge automatically?
Okay, now what I say, I have a reason for this. First of all, when we talk about human rights, every citizen in Cameroon has the right to air out their minds, especially when they are not conversant with the situation at hand. But one thing I've realized about Cameroonians, especially the MRC party, when they wanted to carry out their civic right, they fail to know that by virtue of the law, when the state realizes that there is going to be there's risk of political, instability, they are going to call it off. It is a normal phenomenon.
So are you going to agree with me on this panel, or agree with your other co-panelists to say that at every attempt for a rally,
if the state can demonstrate, if the state can, not the ruling party, if the state can demonstrate that, if the state can demonstrate that the rally is going to be peaceful, I believe it's going to be okay. And it is normal that
educate on political education.
It is normal that the state will put in place the forces of law and order to ensure that there is a peaceful demonstration, which I believe in most cases that's what happens. But when there's risk of a political disturbance, then the state has the right
and this brings me
to infringe those rights.
Question that I have been wanting to ask. So are you saying that as a militant of the CPDM, at a distance, you would say that at every attempt or every strike made by opposition parties to have their rallies or their peaceful protests, the state sees casualties in those rallies?
Not all. I believe there have been some cases where demonstrations have taken place and peacefully.
Which ended well?
Which ended
well?
No.
Which ended well.
I'm going to argue.
Yes.
I'm going to argue that in 2018, when we had campaigns before the presidential election, you saw how your president, your national president, Kamto, he was going out and doing rallies and the rest. You saw how people lost their lives and people were in prison, and because of educating the Cameroonians on political issues, on how to
2018, sir.
Yes.
During presidential campaign.
Yes.
So I think you should check your facts. I think I was very active in presidential campaign. So
people were in prison even before the presidential election. Now I'm going to still come back in 1997. Cameroon experienced considerable difficulties with poor distribution of electoral ID card. That is excluding those citizens from voting. Do you know that?
What I will say is this: every year there is room for improvement. I believe that
the poor technology that Elekam has. Let me land.
You have asked me a question.
I've asked a question and you have
let me answer.
Let me answer my two questions.
Now give me room to answer. Give me room to answer. I have said that there is always room for improvement. We are even aiming for a time when elections will be, the results will be out as election process is taking place, like you see in the US and other related countries. We are trying to improve. So you cannot say because some voters did not have their cards ready in 1997, it means that in 2025 the same is going to repeat. You should be open to improvement.
Can I say something?
While you say something, somebody has raised, a concern in view of elections, electoral results, and voting strategies, and the production of voters' cards.
Yeah.
In the words of Mr. Joel Ekogwe, he says there is room for improvement. And do you think at this point we should not be talking about improvement in the era 2024, where Cameroon is severely beckoning for an emergence in 2025?
The first thing we should say, I want to be categorically clear about this. Even as humans, we make advancement every day. That is why we progress academically, we progress in age, we progress in status, we progress in many other things, which means so long as we are living, life is a progression and there is no limit to growth. There was a time we never knew about AI, and now we are talking about AI technology. So we are saying that there are open rooms for amendments and many other things, but that should not be the reason why things should not be moving because we are talking for the best. But while looking for the best, we should have the good. So now what we are saying, I think those are distractions, because I don't see how this is going to help the young voters. It's distraction. What I think that the opposition should be gearing themselves towards, they should be gearing themselves towards ideological stand. They should have ideological stand feet. They should have strategic output. They should be working on getting financial sourcing finances for the upcoming election. Those are things that are very necessary for the opposition to be doing now, and they should join voice with every Cameroonian of goodwill to make sure they push the youth to go and register. We said that, can the voters card change? Yes, the voter card. I believe in the ballot than the bullet. So I believe that the ballots can bring the change. But now, if the amount of persons who have to effectuate this change are not going to have voters card or be eligible to vote, that is where the problem is coming. One thing we keep saying here, like, there are people who are die-hearted supporters of parties, even the ruling parties. You have die-hearted supporters that they actually vote. It will shock you that somebody will say, like my co-panelist just said this. If not for the sake of this, I think I'll be suing you for calling me corrupt. You say I've been bought. You're calling me a corrupt man, but I'll let it slip. I'll let it slip up. But if not for that sake, the first thing you should be looking here is the CPDM people. They come out to vote. That's why you see even so, this that
even the dead people also come out to vote.
Sir, let me talk.
Even the dead people come out to vote for CPDM. Look at the manipulated electoral calendar. Let me give him an example.
Mr. Obasi, you're not giving me to make this political discourse an interesting one because you should pick the truth about it. You don't just rant. Being an opposition does not mean everything that you are not doing. They are not doing evil. Because you sitting tomorrow there will also be shortgummings. Everyone has the ability to have shortgummings.
And to support what you're saying.
Now, what I'm saying here is,
don't you think that is guilt tripping him or just trying to,
I'm simply telling him about the reality.
What weight does that hold, considering that we are in a political debate?
We're in a political debate because you should know that what you are condemning, there's only time when you sit there, you know if you can do better or you do worse. So at the moment you should be very optimistic to talk reality and don't just talk fantasy, because many things that has bound the hand of many people is because they fantasize a lot and getting to the position they could not deliver. So the aspect is that you look the reality at hand. The reality at hand is that you do the check and balances. And being an opposition, you do the check and balances. If you say that you come to sit, you give us water, it's because you are not here on seat. You are doing the check and balances, and you know that there's a possibility of bringing that water and what is going to be put in place to bring it. For example, when I'm saying, opposition leaders have made many people, they have lost interest in voting. Many people sit in their house with their voters card. But I should tell you the truth that CPDM members go out to vote, no matter how daring the situation is. True. So in their numbers, if 10,000 people are voting and CPDM are 6,000. The 6,000 automatically has given them a victory because they will go out to vote. Why? There are millions of people who are living with oppositions.
Let me say something. Let me say something to add to what you're saying.
Let me ask a question.
Okay.
Would you say that the voice or the naysaying voice of the politician would deter or has always deterred young Cameroonians or active Cameroonians, bona fide Cameroonians from going out there to vote, even if they know they are knowledgeable enough to know that maybe their votes would be played upon?
The truth is, you should teach them that register, vote, and defend your vote. This should be the slogan opposition should carry for these elections coming. Register, vote, and together let's defend our vote. Stop telling people your vote will be stolen. If my vote will be stolen, why should I waste my energy, my transport, my money to go and vote when it will be stolen? You that you are running for a position, you have not put strategies in place that you can stop them from stealing my vote, then you expect me to go and waste my energy and time. That is what the oppositions are doing, and they are killing the anxieties of voters. Tell them register, vote, and together we'll defend our vote, and it's going to be possible. Do you think it's only Cameroon that is corrupt? Do you think Senegal is not corrupt?
So are you validating the corruption and saying that
corruption is a widespread disease in the whole world? So Cameroon is not an exception.
Are you visaring it?
I'm not visaring it. I am just.
So tomorrow, as president
I'm simply picking it for you to not know.
As president, if you're there, going to chauffeur?
I'm simply picking it to you that corruption is a sick.
No, but when you start making it,
you should know that. The first of all thing you should know that corruption is a sick, and we are finding solution to it. Finding solution to a thing does not mean you are promoting it, but you cannot deny that it is existing. So what we are saying that they should vote, they should register, vote, and defend it, is to make sure the corrupt practices that has to happen when you vote and you are able to defend it, then you are going to copy it down. So what me putting in that corruption is a world disease for you to tell that Cameroon is not just an exceptional country, it's only corrupt. Every other nation is corrupt, even Senegal. But now what we are saying is that there should be mechanism to kill corruption. But we cannot single line it because that you are a politician in Cameroon and think that only Cameroonian politicians are corrupt. No, the whole world. But now what is it happening in your own country is that what are the mechanisms you are putting in place to kill the corruption? That is what we should be looking forward to. Not single out some people like the...
Okay, as a politician, yes, what strategies do you think that opposition like yourself would put in play in order to know that they can, gain the grounds for possible election?
Thank you. These are the questions you should have been asking. First and foremost, we are telling them, go and register. Have your voter's card because it is the key to the position we are looking for.
Which is not a new thing which they have been
No, it is a new thing.
It is a national anthem.
Sir,
it is a national anthem. All opposition leaders has been singing.
It's a new
go
thing.
And register. Go and register. Go and register. Go and
get a slogan and finish it. Go and register. Come and vote. And together we will defend this vote and win. While the opposition, they have been telling that go and register and they will steal our vote. That's what they have been saying. So it's something new, sir.
Now my question is it just Mr. Joel Ekogbo, before I come to Mr. Obasi, is it just because the young politician here is making it seem like oppositions are the one championing these narratives? How true is it going to be sitting on this set and considering that there are millions and thousands of people watching you? Would you look into the camera and tell Cameroonians that it is the ideologies of the politicians that their votes are maneuvered, that is being shoved down their throats, and that they cannot see things for themselves if at all it exists?
Okay, what I would tell Cameroonians is this. First of all, I will say vehemently that the CPDM party has taken advantage of the fact that most opposition parties and most Cameroonians fail to realize that their votes count. The opposition parties have this negative impression which has ruled them for a long time, that if they go to vote, their votes will be stolen. And the CPDM takes advantage of that, and all its militants are mobilized to go and vote.
When dead people start voting.
Now, when he talked about dead people, I wanted to step in.
I'm about to ask a question, and you let me land. It is my panel.
Okay.
When you talk about when dead people start voting, what strategies? Is it still opposition telling voters out there that your voting or your vote will not count, or are they the ones saying it for themselves?
Let me say this. That idea that dead people are voting, it's not true. I have an example. When this crisis began in the northwest and southwest, I went to Yaoundé, and I happened to be in Yaoundé on the day of voting. So I went out to cast my vote. Unfortunately, I was denied to cast my vote, even as a CPDM militant. Why? Because I wasn't registered in Yaoundé. If dead people vote, then I believe they could have given me the go-ahead to vote in Yaoundé. I was told to come back to my constituency to vote, which is Boya. So I believe that ideology, that dead people vote, maybe he has to explain.
And you think that dead people don't vote in their constituencies? Somebody who had died, maybe in Boya municipality, in a particular, voting area.
There are modalities for voting. You don't just own a voter's card. It doesn't give you the impetus to vote.
Mr. Obasi, do you think all of this, back and forth about dead people voting, which you raised, is just a means, to put nails on the coffins of elections to say that they need to go maybe digitalized, or
obviously they need to
and
be
stringent measures as far as voting is put in place, or maybe electronic voting and all of that?
If you see the electoral system of the United States, or maybe of Hungary and other well-developed countries.
Have you been there?
You know that this
Donald Trump even says that.
You know that they are far better than Cameroon. For example, you go to
but is that a fair competition?
How can you comparing an adult and a child that is creeping?
Oh, that is it. Those are Cameroonian oppositions. Now, let me try to learn is that by saying that when you go to a polling station, you see the list of those who have to vote. You see that there's majority of them are dead. from their faces.
Give us facts. Give us.
You have their death certificate with you.
I don't need to be saying that I
declared
have
them
their
dead?
death.
You have their death certificate.
Because, for example, because I was counting 2018 for the CRP, that means I saw a lot of empty envelopes that nobody were there. But it was being counted as citizen, if you know that.
Why did
and
you
those are
object?
dead people.
Now, but
Why
now
did you
being
object?
a watchdog for a CRP, how did you stand out to be different? Did your voice make any meaning?
By then, I was a militant. I was just a normal militant before having a position like
Now,
I'm having
this
today.
is, a new era, and we are beginning to feel the pre-elections fever. What strategies are the CRP going to put in place in order that, elections rigging is out of the equation completely?
Excellent. Now, CRP is in all the 10 regions, first of all, and has its representative in all these regions. And in the course of the election, there will be representatives to count their vote as the electorate will be placing them on the board, so that the rigging of the election should be limited. And from there, we are going to know if we are victorious or we still have a lot of work to do.
So are you siding with Kufuor when he said that the majority of the rigging comes into play because, or is affected because most of these opposition parties do not have representatives? Is that a tuning?
Yes, I can say that because there are so many. We have 265 parties in Cameroon, and majority of them don't have representatives in all the 10 regions.
As far as rigging elections is concerned, or is that just a pipe dream or a daydream?
Can you rephrase your question again?
Is there ever going to be a time where we are going to get to that place where we say elections happened, or this people were put in these positions or were voted, and it because of free, just, and fair elections?
The first thing you should understand, Yerma Bell, is that the opposition must restrain themselves from negative comments and negative energy in respect of elections, which means they must mobilize the people and put them to the highest gear they can put them to go out there and vote, to defend their vote. Like I was talking with my co-panelist, the man from CRP, that what I am saying is something is new. You may say it's old. The old one, they just say, go and register, or have your voter's card. But listen, this new channel is, get your voter's card, vote, and together we'll defend the vote, which is a slogan that they have never brought into place. That slogan has always been, go and register, have your voter's card, and they will steal the vote, which at the dimension, it kills the euphoria of many Cameroonians who are expecting a change. For example, we saw in our neighboring country, Nigeria, right? Even though we gather they have irregularities in the elections as well, but once you say the turnout and the valor of the people who came out to vote, that is what opposition should keep pulling. Even when they thought that Tinubu was going to do whatever, the obedience or the articulated did not stop from carrying out their campaign and forcing their supporters to come out so they can do their best to defend. So I want to think that Cameroonians opposition should start learning that. They should start learning that you must push it to the end. If it has been pushing of this nature, I want to assure you, and now would have had a change of result. Somehow would have had a change of result by elections. But now, because the opposition as the one championing the negative narratives, so definitely many people are tuning to that negative narratives, and they don't see even the reasons why they will waste their time on something. So the opposition must change that ability. A day is going to come where all of us will accept totally this person won. By sheer majority, he is victorious. Why? When the narrative is being changed, the mentality will be shaped. Because now, there are many things we say them to our unborn and born children who are still growing up that they are not factual. For example, most of us will grow up having negative energy concerning the nation where we could not even identify what is wrong with Cameroon. Because your parents, they told you this man is a bad man, your uncle told you this. But now when you start going, yes, you start going up the way, there are things you could factor out for yourself. There are things that knowledgeably you could differentiate what is actually wrong and what is. So you can actually talk logically, or you can engage in business with an open mindset. So I want to think that if the narrative is being changed, we have a different narrative to pass down to our generation and pass down to the generation that is coming after us, then there's going to be a change of thing. But if we are copying the same narrative that is being dropped, like for example, when I see other politicians who are running for presidential elections, we don't even have the chances to win even 2025 election. They don't have it. All the narrative they are giving is struggling to make Cameroonians to bring themselves in the position that they are going to give themselves a sacrificial lamb for their own self-interest, which they will not see have the possibility to take the seat even by force, which is something we must discourage. Because all their narratives, for example, can I cite something here, sir? If all of us can admit, you get into different countries when they are talking about positions, you can actually see visibly what they are doing for the people. You can actually see visibly how they are in touch with the people. In Cameroon, we don't see it. The oppositions are even behaving like they are the sitting president of the nation. It is even difficult to meet the leaders. It is even difficult to assess even their regional representatives. So in no way are they closer. You only get to know names, start seeing them in pictures. Like now that we are in a pre-election year to come, you start seeing pictures start coming. So most opposition leaders, they are known in WhatsApp groups. Once in a while, they are being seen on newspaper when they are coming out to just say one or two things. So we don't even see them wishing to even change anything. We see them struggling to beg for appointment, which that should not be the aim of a politician. A politician should have the aim to change things, to bring a change, and to bring reformatory policies. If you can't see to bring it, indirectly you should be able to influence it, that your ideology to change the nation can be bought by the ruling government to put in place. But what we are seeing, we see people coming out every day struggling to say one or two things. That is why their statements are not even factual. They are not consistent with what they say, because they are looking one way or the other. So definitely they have this stereotype mentality, like it's only me that can do it. But we have to come to the reality that not only you can do it, there are a lot of people who are better than you. So the chances should be given and support those who think they have the ability to do it. But the Cameroon opposition party, it is just me, give me the opportunity. But when you go to start checking their track record, you don't see anything substantial that will make you have interest to think they are capable or they are able to deliver, because they are not different from the ruling government. So in that nutshell, I think that a lot has to be changed within the opposition circle if at all we are going to win parliamentary seat and municipal seat. Because for the presidential seat, egalitarian movement, our eyes are off it.
Don't you think that is just acting as a wet blanket? Why would you, that is already nailing you.
Let time tell.
That is spewing your incompetence.
No.
When you say that your eyes are off.
No, the first thing here I want to say is like Mr. Joel, you pointed something out. There is something here the truth is you can lie to everybody, don't lie to yourself.
No, I don't think that is good for
you can tell us.
Political party should die at birth.
No, we are going for municipal and parliamentary because we want the parliament to have function. When the parliament picks its functions back, the executive will also toe in line.
Now,
so at the moment,
in line with what he was saying about voting and making the ballot speak, we in the last elections in 2018, we saw how the ruling party won by 71% of votes. That is what we describe in English language landslide victory. Arguably. Is it that? And when we see the massive support during that time, one would even be tempted to say that maybe other key opposition leaders like Kanto and the SDF or MRC are actually at the spearhead or forefront. What happens when it gets to the ballot? We see 71%. Is it that they push their interest, push their support, but behind the curtains, they talk differently in the ballot? Mr. Obase.
Please, can you refresh?
I am saying that some opposition leaders, or Mr. Joel, maybe you take it up from there.
Okay, what I would say is that, like I said before, the CPDM party takes advantage of the situations at hand. I remember that election, Cameroonians were at a state where most of them had given up going to the ballot box. Even some political parties like MRC did not see the need to go and vote. Again, some areas which the oppositions never did campaigns in those areas, and the CPDM took advantage of those areas and massively voted. I believe that we should call a spade a spade. You cannot tell me that you sit in the house, then I go and vote and the election was rigged. The CPDM takes advantage of those moments when...
What's your measuring vote for saying people sit in the house? You asked Mr. Obase a question if, on his claim that most dead people's votes still count, or most dead people are voting. Now, you asking or you saying categorically here that people sit in their houses and the CPDM goes out to vote. What is your measuring standard for that?
My point is that most people will say the ruling party did not actually win. There's always that they always, in fact, I've heard it in many places, that actually the elections were rigged. The ruling party didn't win. But if you want to look keenly, you discover that the ruling party...
What facts have you to present that people...
Okay, let me take, for example, the Southwest and Northwest regions. Back in 2016, when when the crisis was at its peak, the CPDM mobilized its militants, even in these Northwest and Southwest regions, to go and vote. And I think they had the majority, because actually the opposition did not vote. I think I could say a minimum number went out to vote at the level of the parliamentary elections, and the results were clear. So it is wrong for an opposition party or a militant to say the elections were rigged. If, let's say, CPDM went out to vote and MRC withdrew from voting, it is obvious that the CPDM won. So I cannot talk much about the other regions, but these are clear examples. Northwest and Southwest.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know that during 2018 election, there were some constituency in Southwest, in Fako division, that were empty, but CPDM was...
They were empty not because...
Positions?
They were empty. Empty. When you say empty, it means CPDM was not represented there?
CPDM was not...
How did you know? Were you there?
So, that's why I'll still bring the ideology of that.
Look at...
I'll still bring the ideology of that.
The CPDM...
Dead people are still voting.
Look at... Even in these two regions, when there was the crisis, I remember the government made available a means for every voter to get to their constituencies to vote.
When the ballot,
there were helicopters that transported militants to go and vote. So if you say,
and are you aware that during the 2018 elections, they were firing gunshots in the air?
But the militants of the CPDM braved the odds.
No. It's a yes. It's voting is
no. Look at not only talking about.
Yes. We are talking politics.
Yeah, true.
Politics does not hover around CPDM. Politics is inclusion.
Sure.
So don't make it a CPDM panel.
No, at that time in 2016-17.
I asked you a question. You had said that the ruling party made provisions for helicopters.
Not the ruling party, the state made provisions. Yes, not
the
ruling party.
Is the ruling party.
No.
Look at it. The state made available.
Who is ruling the state now?
Listen, we have to draw a line between the state and the parties.
There is a thin line between the state and the parties.
But obviously, as I said from the beginning,
the states made provisions for helicopters to ferry people to voting sites.
And
are you aware that elements of the states fired gunshots and deterred a lot of voters?
Elements of the state.
Mr. Joel, Mr. Joel, if they say elements of the state,
when you say elements of the state,
forces of law and order.
And what prompted them? Were they just excited, celebrating to show? What prompted them? There must have been a reason.
No, what I will say
when
is,
you wear the CPDM maillot in front, behind, you have.
As a journalist, I've covered one for
Yes.
and
Kumba, precisely Kumba. Southwest.
Southwest. Of course.
Of course. I want to be very
and there was
clear about it.
Gunshots.
Yes.
Even when there was no attempt.
Let me,
what would you describe that?
As a journalist, are you a trained security agent?
What is the point to that?
The point to that, what you don't see danger, people who are trained in danger could have seen danger.
It is her job to go to all those positions.
A journalist is not a
security agent.
It's her job. Look, as a journalist and also as a
moderator. And you think
it
is a question I'm asking? And you think that now that we have the influence of big names and big political figures zooming in and out of Buea, why don't they just shoot sporadically? Or is Buea void? Is Buea void of the
I'll leave that to the security agents.
Which means your point really does not.
No, you can't say that. The security agent, if the security agent,
which is a case in point. This is a case in point. In one of the polling stations in Cuba, in 2018, I'm still in charge.
Mabel, you can put me your question, but you cannot tell me how to answer your question. Which is that is what you are struggling to do.
Of course not. It's because you are contradicting
No,
yourself.
no. There are two things involved here. I've given you. Not two situations. You asked me. Big names are coming in and out of Buea. I've told you that word. Listen. Only the security agent can determine if they will do sporadic shooting or not, because they are the one who can send danger or if there's not danger. So in the case of Kumba, they send danger and there was sporadic shooting. Even if you want
to look at most of these parties,
we have a caller on the line. Hello and welcome to the program.
Hello?
Yes, welcome to the program Matters this evening.
Yes, thank you very much. I called to add my voice to what my friends over there are saying. Hello?
Yes, please, we are getting you 5 and 5.
Well, in as much as we are having elections come 2025, I don't think the voters card can change the status or the status quo of anything.
Okay.
Why?
Yes.
Why did you say so, please?
Why? Because going by the constitution, if the legislation, the executive and the other arm, if they are not independent, then they cannot go. Because we need to create that distinctive line between the executive for them not to intervene in the other countries, in the lawmaking policies. I abide by what my learned brother, Leonard Kufo is saying. I go by the strength that it cannot change. And the state, who is the state here? The state is led by a governing party, and what is that party? Is a CPTF. So, changing the mindset of people with the ambit of putting the CPTF aside is so difficult, because the politicians in Cameroon, the opposition, they don't understand the spirit of coming together. Because in as much as they will understand the spirit of coming together, they will have a better step in front of the winning party. So in my own opinion, between elections in Cameroon, the voters can have nothing to do, in as much as we don't have the status quo for changing our mindset and of course the independence of the three arms of government. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for calling and giving in that interaction. Dear viewers, if you actually have lots of questions in your chest to upload, and if you actually want to throw your little cent as far as the political debate on the program is concerned, then all you need to do is send us an SMS, which is going to be read right here on air, or you can call just like the last viewer just did and give us what your take on the matter is. In line with reading reactions, I will just take on this quick one. Let us see what a viewer here, a favorite viewer of course, is saying. While acknowledging that there is always room for improvement, but it is also worth noting that as concerning elections in Cameroon, improvements can only be possible if it is in favor of the ruling party. That is why improvements as concerning elections in Cameroon has been improvement in the percentage increase of the ruling party. Mr. Kum Frederick from both. Thank you so much for that reaction. And just like Mr. Kum Frederick, you can also join your voice whether or not in favor of the other political parties that we are talking about and the ideologies that we are actually exchanging. Before we got into that calling break, I was asking Mr. Kufo something, and I think as moderator, in as much as we are trained not to take sides, we want to be as neutral as possible on the political debate. It is a question, but most people may, misinterpret it or misrepresent it. My question is this: in 2018, I'm talking with facts, covered one of the polling stations in Meme, and there was a sporadic shooting. I remember getting in some, casual exchange with one of the military agents, which, it's not very necessary to be brought on air, and he said it was within the ambit of security. Now, we don't see any attacks. People trekked from their houses to different polling stations to vote, and you said it's because they are trained agents or trained security experts.
Yes.
Now, coming to Buea or different towns, especially Buea, where we have an influx of, people, politicians coming in, and national events, there are no sporadic shootings, even when they are not
Shall I
attempts?
answer?
Of course, why not?
I just want you, like I said, you can call me for a debate, but you cannot tell me how to debate. And this is the first thing, and I'll put it clearly: you are a journalist, and you are not a trained security agent.
Okay, so what's the point of that?
My first point is only somebody who have the knowledge of a field can best be to discern or to determine when a danger is and when it is not. I don't know if you're getting me. You are a journalist, I'm not. There is somewhere we may sit together and you pick an information or you pick a news that may be what noting, which I may not have an idea of what has happened there, but maybe a breaking news for you that can elevate you. So you can't put it, say, then there was a sporadic shot. They best know what they assessed at that moment and what was necessary for them to do, to know what they were trying to send. And at the moment, if you are not finding them shooting, they are still the one in control on the security matter, which I am not part of it, you are not part of it. So we cannot go into a field that we don't even know what is happening there. All we know is that we want to sleep and wake up back safe, hoping and trusting the state that it is providing us good security for what it is being made to do.
Let's talk about checks and balances after the electoral process. Do you think there has been justifiable, fair checks and balances that visas or gives way for a fair and just electoral result?
First of all, I'm going to first start by saying that, as my brother will call that, if the three arm of government or maybe the four arm of government are not independent, election will never go well. First of all, the independence of the legislative, the executive, the judiciary, all this must be independent so that a fair and transparent election can go through. Now, those are the kind of variety of things we need in Cameroon. We have just two arms of government in Cameroon, and I'm talking with fact because even the Minister of Justice is an executive, and we have an executive and a legislature. So those are the two people who are commanding our nation, and the electoral board are also not independent, because they are being appointed by the executive and they are being manipulated by the executive. Because look like what happened in 2018 elections, after when
Sir, sorry to interject you. So are you saying there is no hope for the nation?
No, please. I want to ask a question. Before you get to Kufuor's question, I'll ask a question. You have consistently on the panel mentioned that every big wing working for the state is actually a CPDM militant or a CPDM big goal. Do you think it is fair enough to say that here categorically on the panel?
First of all the
thinking that you may be misleading Cameroonians because the state is independent from whatever clause.
Thank you very much for asking such a question, because you have to know that already the state, any ruling party that takes over the state, everybody there, whether the administrators or the politicians in the state, are already part and parcel.
Are you talking out of emotions as an opposition?
All these days, you have to know that all these days CPD have been making campaigns, and all these campaigns have been done by ministers. Do you know that? But those who call themselves administrators, who are ministers and governors, are being participating in such. But when CRP will have a rally, the DO will not be there to represent the state or the administration. The administration.
So how can we bring neutrality into the whole thing?
Madam Moderator,
everything has to be independent. For example, now we have, it has been said that the politician comes and go, while the administrators, they remain. They are the civil servant, they are the administration of the state, they are the eye of the state. But majority of what we are saying is only inside the book, but practically, categorically, it's wrong.
Madam
I will just get to Mr. Joel and later on I'll come to you, Mr. Kufuor, while you catch your breath.
Okay, what I wanted to interrupt by saying that if he was made president today, if you were made president today, what would be the first thing you do about parliament?
First of all, the parliament, majority of the parliamentarians need to come from the ruling party.
They need to come out. Are they appointed?
From election. So I made all means that they have to come out.
Madam Abel, can I say something, please? I'm really sorry to say this.
Which will not come off as an attack.
No, it's not an attack. You know that I don't do that. It's more of an open discussion than attacking someone. I want to put it back to you, Mr. Obasi. Maybe you make clarity. So don't you think that there is no use you being a politician in this country? Don't you think that you are wasting your time by being a politician to any party? Because from your indication, elections are going to be stolen. From your indication, nothing can change. From your indication, there is no separation of power. From your indication, the nation is already dead. So why are you into politics when you cannot bring any change?
That you admit that you said all of those things first and foremost.
I admit, and to answer his question, why me being a politician is because we need the CRP wants a change. Me, I myself,
there cannot be any change.
So let him respond to the
it's
question.
okay.
I need a change.
So how are they going to be this change which you say no election cannot be won? So it is totally okay that they will keep stealing election till their kingdom come.
The electoral board must be honest.
Come against Sam. I'm coming.
Yeah.
I just want to continue the question on the line because it's
Let
answering.
him respond.
The electoral board must be honest.
It's appointed by the state.
Appointed by the state, but they must be.
So it means that when he gets to power, he will change the electoral board.
Look at what happened in Nigeria. INEC was honest to say to be clear in all their electoral process. No matter that we know that.
But what if
everything must still happen?
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
We still understand that everything must still happen. That Tinubu.
No, you understand. I don't understand.
What if you are saying that? Like I started by saying that what you define as right may be wrong to me, and what I define as wrong may be right to me.
If he's yet to respond to the question,
Madam Abel, please.
I will give no.
Just 1 minute.
At this particular point in time, I'll be giving the microphone to whosoever merits it or to whom I deem fit. Kofo asked you a very central question, which I think that you're still playing around. This is beyond every political interest. We are educating Cameroonians who are glued to this program. Your question to him, Mr. Kofo, do you find the need to be a political party, even with amidst or in the midst of this stereotype?
Obviously, yes, because we need a change.
What change are you going to bring?
First of all, changing the ruling party.
How will you win it when you say you cannot win election?
That is why I'm still trying to answer your question. I have already said all the negativity of the ruling party and the state. It's now as you ask me a question, why? What is the need for me to be a politician? Now for me to be a politician, because we need a change in Cameroon. I always go to the part of the youth, because the youth have been so much marginalized.
But they will steal their vote.
Excuse me.
You asked him a question.
Excuse me. That is why I will still say that the majority of the youth must enter into politics so that change can be. The old grooms have already ruled for over more than 42 years, and we need a change. We need a young blood like how Senegal did. Now you're asking that those things change their vote. First of all, yes, we know that they are being appointed by the state and by the old grooms, but those who are being appointed must be honest no matter what.
Well, we are talking about honesty, and honesty
how the Constitutional Council in Senegal, was so honest to tell Macky Sall that
Cameroonians are good at comparing.
The first thing I want to make it clear to my friend Obasi in the panel is the first time we are meeting. I've been making this very strong call that, like, the caller who made it that oppositions are not united. Why? This call of rigging, you're coming back to the same thing. If you say you should enter politics, automatically you want them to stop rigging, right?
Yeah.
So you should encourage them to come, because if you keep stalling, because everything you say is like election cannot be won, it will be stolen. So there is no need calling them. That is why you're still coming back to the point that the right emphasis and right strategies have not been put in place, which means as much as rigging machineries are in place, it can be stopped. When you're talking about honesty, you're just bringing one of the ways rigging machineries can be stopped. So why don't we encourage people to go out, register to vote, and together we defend the vote? Because if we keep giving the narratives like vote will be stolen, nothing can change.
Do you agree, as a young politician and as somebody who is actively involved in a political movement, that they are rigging machineries?
Yes, I 100% agree that they are rigging machineries. To say that they are not, I will be a big liar. They are rigging machineries.
Don't you think at a certain point you're contradicting yourself?
No, I'm not contradicting myself.
I'm coming. Let me land. Yes. For somebody whom a while ago said that opposition have actually shoved down the wrong narratives in the throat of Cameroonians that is deterring them from voting, and as somebody who on this panel said that the CPDM is getting the victory because they go out in their numbers to vote, and now you're saying they are rigging machinery.
I want to say that you are misplacing my statement or somehow misinterpreting what I'm saying. So let me put it back. Since I'm here, let me do that correction.
Okay.
What I am saying, I don't know if you get me. If I say there's no rigging, I'll be lying. There is no election in the world that there is no manipulation by the sitting regime, and in every country it do play out. What I keep telling you here is that the opposition, because they faced that once or twice, they have withdrawn themselves from going to put the emphasis of voting. So first, the opposition don't motivate people to vote. Like he was saying here, I'm with a politician who said it here and is still on panel, that they will be stealing, they'll be stealing. Why I'm saying that narration must be cancelled. Why? What you should be looking is, how do you counteract that machinery that has been put in place? We are not refusing that the machinery is not being there, but how are you going to counteract it? And to keep telling you this, CPDM militants vote. Opposition has made the populace to lose interest in voting and they don't go out to vote. That's why he comes that dead people are voting. I don't want to go by that his narrative. That is why they can increase even 1,000 vote. They can increase it to 10,000 because the 10,000 was supposed to come out did not come out. So the vote that was supposed to come to me, they'll add it to their voting list. So by the way, they had the 1,000 who came and voted for them because 10,000 registered or 10,000 names were there and 9,000 not come. They add the remaining 9,000 to their voting. So automatically they won and they increased their number and there will be a landslide victory. It does not stop the fact that stealing was involved.
You said the ballot needs to start speaking and not the bullet.
Yes.
Do you think there is a point where we should start preaching ballot and not the bullet? Remember a while back, I think one member of the panel here said that opposition leaders are happy when
I said it.
Where bullets are spewing.
Yes.
That would mean that as moderator,
yes, you were keen.
I'm really keen.
You were keen.
Do you, at this point where nothing is flexible enough, you feel that there is always a rigging of elections, and no matter what, the ruling party has its claws on electoral policies and rigging elections or maneuvering that? At this juncture, do you think the bullet or the ballot should speak?
I will still say that coming to his idea that let the ballot speak, because all Cameroonians love peace. Now, why the ballot is because we need a total change, mindset change, nation change, and joining hands to build the nation. I will still tell my youth, go out there, register, have the voters card, then vote and put a representative to check.
Let's defend.
Not the bullet. Like what happened in 2018, 2017, 2019, and all the rest of our days that we have been having. Because when you do like that, it's not.
Mr. Joel Ekogwe, if we have representatives in each of these voting pools and representatives of each party is acting as a watchdog to take stock of what is going on, and we have our voters card and we have young Cameroonians who go out there against every odd to vote, do you think we can change the status quo?
Yeah, the status quo can always change if need arises, because if still the very people who cast their votes still believe in the sitting party, I believe the sitting party will win. So it is not about just casting your votes, it's your belief. If an opposition party proves that the sitting party, because like my brother says, he's only interested in, we need a change. Change for what? We can change from good to bad. If the populace are not confident in the kind of change you want to bring, they will not vote for you, and the sitting party will still remain.
So change from what? As opposition, change from what?
Now,
there are many things we are going to change Cameroon. First, there's going to be liberal democracy.
That's the one.
We are going to have a liberal democracy. We are going to do a check of abuse of power. We are going to do security amendment, because there are certain things in Cameroon that we actually have to account with.
Change also the constitution.
The security. Our constitution, by the best of my knowledge at this moment as a jurist, the constitution is okay, but it is not just being respected, which will mean the constitution should be respected to totality. For example, we have clauses, this is Article 60 or 59, which talks about any elected representative must do declarance of assets before getting into power. which we are not doing that. So we think that we should be able to bring, and we must build a firm accountability system in the government. I will make sure that there should be meritocracy over mediocrity, and we should kill the aspect of nepotism and tribalism.
Now you're saying that meritocracy, that means there is an altar where there is dishonesty in electoral proceedings.
I'm not talking about electoral proceedings here. I'm talking about the nation in general governance. So don't drag me back to electoral. I'm talking here. You're asking what the opposition will change. So I'm talking here things that touch the whole nation. The nation does not end in election. Election is just one of the process for a nation to build, to select the leaders that has to build. And that's why I say that as opposition, we must be able for our manifesto to actually reflect what we are going to do. And what I'm just spilling out now is a manifesto, which I think many other opposition may have one or two things within this manifesto. Because when we're talking about change, what are the things? We are talking about change, we are talking what are the things that are going to be improved. Because there is nothing we are going to bring in Cameroon that is not here at this moment. There is technology in Cameroon, but a backward technology. We have to bring it forward. We are talking about infrastructure, but not the best at the moment. We have roads which are not usable. So what we are saying, we are talking what that needs to be developed, that we want to say maybe the regime has been blinded about it or have been told lies about those who they put to actually carry out this project, that we must take it the bull by the horn. So those are certain things where we are talking about change we are looking forward to. We are talking about the educational system. We are talking about an impactful educational system.
Let's look at the time frame within which elections are proclaimed, the time for which elections are processed and proclaimed. Do you think in other countries, a case in point, Senegal, it was less than a week, and that was, everybody could literally see the voting and who is emerging. Do you think at a certain point Cameroon needs to upscale to that level where there is adequate transparency in elections and even in the counting, the checks, the balancing process?
I think
the postpartum evaluations.
Okay, I think quoting from Senegal, I would say that many countries and people are applauding Senegal today, failing to know that the ruling party and the president himself gave an endorsement to whoever was coming in. His endorsement was very important. He had declared he was not going to sit again for elections, and he gave an open check for everybody to come up and vote for whoever they see necessary.
No, he appointed a successor, sir. You were misquoting facts there.
The Prime Minister was a successor?
He appointed a successor and blessed him, sir.
No, wait. I'm talking about what happened eventually, not what happened between.
No, he has a candidate, sir.
Now, I'm saying that what
he says a candidate.
He gave an endorsement
to a candidate.
Yes, he gave an endorsement. It happens not only in Senegal, even in the United States. There's endorsement. Now, that endorsement alone gives an upper hand. We need to understand that every country has a season. Every country has a season. Cameroon has its seasons. Cameroon has its seasons, and when change that you are talking about will be
no, sir. You want to call us that, therefore we are primitive. You want to say that?
No, we are not
want to say that we are not developed.
We are saying that what?
Are you insulting Cameroonians that we are primitive and uncivilized?
I'm simply saying that there is a time for everything. You should not say that because Senegal had a change yesterday, all Cameroonians must have a change today.
I'll bet to differ with
we
you.
can buy from we can learn from them.
I'll bet to differ from you because we say that every nation is struggling to adopt what is positive and good.
No, we adopt by looking at your own political situation.
To what you are trying to
you adopt something.
Have 5 presidents, 5 consecutive. Cameroon have how many?
It is not about how many presidents you've had.
Since
if you have 5 worst presidents, you call that wait. If you have 5 worst presidents, we
should have 5 worst presidents. Then we should have liberation.
I think sometimes it's good to appreciate something.
The truth is, let's be factual. At every changes, no matter how bad a person is, he will come with some positive things.
Now look, let me tell you something. If the head of state has been in power up to this moment, even I myself, I love new things. But if he has been in power for this up to this moment, if Cameroon has been emerging stronger
from the French
up to this moment, if Cameroon has been emerging stronger, it means that what? It is no longer an individual.
Okay, now
it is a system.
Is the whole quagmire or, this gruntlement about a particular person who has been in power for 42 years? Or is it about French to French as most Cameroonians would have it? Or is it about a change for new thing? At a certain point, what do Cameroonians want?
The first thing should be, what do Cameroonians want? I will be sitting as a politician, so let me talk from, I think I represent some certain aspiration of certain people want to see a certain change. So the first thing when we're talking here about change, we are talking about a failed system. So we are not talking just about the president. He's not hated.
And you take ownership for that statement?
I do. We don't hate the president. I don't hate him. I love him as the father of the nation. But we are simply saying that what he has been doing for us, we appreciate his time and energy, but we are not actually satisfied with the work he has been doing. I would think that a different hand could do it better. And that is why opposition is there to make sure a change comes. So when we are talking here about change, like I started it, talking about change is not because you hate the elected people who are sitting. It's just because you feel they are not doing what they were actually elected to do.
Is it because it's from French to French?
I don't have any reasons from French to French. The whole nation can be what? What I want in the nation is that there should be economic good, there should be good medical health, there should be good road, there should be lighting system, not an epileptic electrical system. I should have food, there should be good salary. So if the nation like, they should change it to Chinese, Spanish, whatever thing we speak. But when these things are in place, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
You mentioned, I think you are one of the people who actually fueled my interest in asking this question, Mr. Obasi here, talking about from French to French, and Cameroon has had just 2 presidents while Senegal 5. Is a comparison in the number of presidents which a nation has had or may have had, or is it in the French to French, or is it in the change, the positive change because of a failed system?
First of all, I will still buy the idea of my other opposition leader, because whatever he has said is what we need in Cameroon. Not the French to French, not whatever. Even you have just one president, but if his idea is well pushed to our image to 2035 as His Excellency President Probia is saying, Emergence 2035. If his idea has been pushed forward every day, every year, and every electoral process, that is what we need. We don't want the French colonial master will be commanded, President Probia do this, President Probia do that. President Probia do that.
He said he wants a new person.
That is why we want a new president. That is why we the opposition, that is what we need. We need a new president.
If the sitting president can, that is why we need the sitting president in a move to emergence gives you all that you need. Would you love to see him there?
Now, if the sitting president, I think I was about to ask that question. If the sitting president or the incumbent, maybe I asked you before creeping over to if the sitting president or the ruling president gives you the emergence by 2035 as father of the nation, would you still want him there, or you want him to leave?
Let him leave, because we need a new person.
Don't you think you're contradicting yourself? What do you want at this point?
Is a positive
new
change.
Person with non-change, or change even in an old bottle?
No, a new person and with a positive change.
Okay. Kufo, maybe
yeah, the first thing we should understand here is that he has lived a full life that God has blessed him with. And if we are talking about new, I think it's not just the aspect and the longevity of time he has been there, he has not been able to deliver. So there is no additional time to give. We want to see even at work, probation period is given. And even when you employ, they will check your statistics and your competency. To generality, it has been a failed government. So seeing that, struggling to say somebody who failed you at the first time, you gave him the second chance and the third chance.
On the 7 times.
And he keeps failing you.
And he keeps failing.
You can't extend it. Automatically,
where are all our companies in Cameroon?
Some other person.
Where are they? A failed regime. Where is the Soné? Where is Sotika? All this, the same regime. The same regime. We need a new person that can revive all these beautiful companies that we had. Beautiful road contract.
But we have a new now. You're asking
French.
Is your problem just French? Your problem is
we
French.
Need to Cameroon need to cut out from French and be totally independent.
In other words, you are saying that
Sonara in the south.
Sonara, they died. The death thing that is
okay, let me ask you a question.
The death thing that
if they give you an English-speaking Cameroonian with a CPDM, will you take it?
I cannot take CPDM because CPDM is very poor.
But you say you are talking about French, everything French.
The aspect at this juncture, what I think the opposition should be looking for, I said the word, Mabel, I want to come back to it. I said, for us, I personally am leader of the egalitarian, our eyes are off the presidential state. We don't know who we are going to support, but we are praying that God will lead us.
Come and support
the first thing,
nice.
What we know at this moment, no, definitely there's a candidate who will support, but at this moment,
no, come and support the
But the first thing we should know at this
he's a very good, he's a vibrant youth.
Is that a risky thing to say? I mean, considering that elections are coming and saying
no,
excuse me,
right,
and you're saying that you support
a candidate.
Maybe somebody viewing may think that you're one of those, charlatans who are bought or fixed stationary by the incumbent.
Let me be very factual with you. Let me be very factual with you.
It is a question.
I'm coming. I'm answering the question. To be realistic and to be truthful. Many people say they love truth, but definitely they love lies. To the aspect at the moment, we don't have a presidential candidate we think we could support. What we are looking forward, we are looking about the municipality and we're looking about the parliamentary. We want to feel that the parliament should be fitted with men who understand laws and can make better laws for this nation and can vote things that will actually make the nation not just seems to be working, but to actually be working. We want mayors that will sit in municipality, that will actually have the plight of the people and transform their various cities in the way that is going to provide. While this is what I'm telling you, what our party is building. So I don't want to know what you want to. I will not tell you what I want to.
And I ask again, just for clarity.
Just for clarity, which I say, I'm not telling somebody what you want to hear because you want to support. But if you want to support us, you should not. That is our platform. So we'll not give you a platform that you come, you will not meet. Okay. Our platform now, we are working for the municipal and we are working for the parliamentary. Hopefully, before the presidential election, we may have a candidate.
Before we round up this debate today, let us talk at length about some of those strategic implementations and emphasis that we can give in order to make the twin elections upcoming next year, 2025, more mutuals. What strategies, I think as die-hard political parties, what do you think you can put in place in order to make these 2025 elections fleshy and get the grounds that it deserves, and especially shifting people's eyes from the radar of rigging, if at all there have ever been rigged elections?
Excellent. I would like by saying, I will still come back to my old word that let all that operation 1 million youth registration for the voters card. That's number one. Secondly, the CRP political party have already all his representatives, starting from the national president, who is Mr. Foliga, that will be representing us for the presidential seat, and all his other representatives that will be taken from the municipal and the parliamentary election. So that is it that we and also rigging of election, we have already put in place at least four representatives for each poll that will be there as a watchdog to see how victorious we are going to be in 2025.
Okay, we have a message here from one of the viewers who says Mr. Obasi Inka is more emotional, and he thinks you need to come out with some facts, and the person with t-shirt is whatever that means. Well, please sir, you just try to recoin your topic or your statement and tell us what you really mean, and sign your message. Thank you so much. Maybe somebody, because the message wasn't completed, maybe somebody there thinks maybe they want to differ, or maybe they're siding with you. Do you think you may have said something actually about strategy implementation that you think people will differ?
At the moment, it is risky for us to tell about any strategy. Okay. We have just one strategy at the moment.
Which is?
Let the youth go and register. Let them vote. Together we'll defend.
No, but if you have said here that political parties, opposition political parties are actually, not being a breath of fresh air with the idea that they have always echoed the rigging of elections and it's about time for them to change the narrative. Don't you think that could be one of the strategies?
If we have aired out something, strategy means bringing solution to it, and solutions are always technical. and a technical solution of that nature cannot be discussed on the
panel.
panel.
Doesn't really have.
It is automatically we have brought out the problems. You have made them know it exists. Now you have told them they have to look for solutions. So every other political party should be out there bringing solutions. And maybe in the future, if political parties are going for coalition, the different ideologies and strategies may bring one solid thing to go against.
All right. We have a caller on the line. Welcome to the program. Good evening. Please, can you bring down the volume of your receiver? You do not talk and try to get yourself at the same time. Thank you.
Are you getting me now?
Bring down the volume of your receiver. Thank you. Dear televiewers, please, when you call to interact on the program, kindly bring down the volume of your receiver. We understand that the beauty of some of the callers is trying to talk while getting their voices on TV. That is not the beauty, because technologically we have about 1 or 2 seconds of relay from the time that we are talking to the time that your receiver is giving you there at the studio. So this thing I've just said, after 2 seconds you're going to be getting it. So please, when you want to talk to us, bring down the volume of your receiver and make your point. While at that, we are hoping that the last caller calls back, because we are eager to get what he or she has been meaning to tell us. We were with you before the caller interrupted. Okay, I think we have the caller again. Hello and welcome to the program. Good evening. Where are you calling us from and what is your name?
I'm called Chris, calling from Boya.
Okay, you're welcome to the program, Chris.
Thank you very much. I don't have much to say, but all I want to say is there is no election in Cameroon. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Yes. What we have next year is a reappointment. It's not an election. We already know the day's end, the final result. So let's stop fooling ourselves that it's an election. There's no need encouraging youth. We already know the final outcome. Yes.
But don't you think with the voters card, the status quo can change?
Nothing can change, man. Nothing can change.
Why do you say so? I mean, as a youth, whom I presume.
We know the system is nothing to debate about. We know the system. We know it. So it's only for how we change the system of Cameroon. I believe so.
And what if we go with Operation 1 million youth with voters card? Don't you still think or try to have a rethink that something in the status quo can change?
They use themselves. I don't think they really have the urge to vote. Sometimes I was speaking to some of my friends some weeks ago. I was telling them that, bro, it's like we'll go and join the winning team. Because you don't back. Don't win my sister. So I don't even know what to say again. There's no any man can find a way. The truth is vote cannot change.
Okay, which means the existence of political parties or opposition political parties is not even necessary in Cameroon. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what I don't know.
let me answer Chris.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was quite a family believer for us in the studio. And if you, in case you have the need to call again, of course, our lines are very open through the number that you find on your television set. You can send us an SMS, and this program is actually a calling program. Chris cannot say what he wants to do. And I mean, I like the bluntness of the statement. No. Okay, we have another call. This happens to be a calling day. Welcome to the program.
Hello?
Yes, hello and welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. The program on air is Matters, and who are you, please?
This is Evaristus calling from Boya.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Evaristus. And how is Boya doing this evening?
We thank God for everything. Though it is the way it is, but we thank God.
Okay, that's fine. Please shoot with your introduction.
Like seriously, ma, I would say if we think Cameroon can have a change through a ballot box, I for one, I don't see it like that. Because if I can say for over 34 years today,
42 years.
For over 34 years today, we have one president on seat, one national speaker on seat, and there are young people who are privated, there are young people out there searching for jobs, and those people are still and in offices, I don't think we have like anything. I don't think there is anything like political party or the opposition party.
Oh, there's opposition in Cameroon.
So we have considered that Cameroon is being ruled by a PCM, and so let it be. Because if there is a reason for votes or people to go out and vote, then I think that could have been done ever since. But since we have been voting, people have been voting years back and nothing has been changing, it keeps on continuing the way it is. I don't think we will have any change.
Okay, so are you saying that
the 2025 election is concerned?
Okay, Mr. Evaristus, are you saying that the landslide victory for the incumbent or the ruling party is just a myth?
Like Chirokima, I will tell you, it's just a myth.
Okay, so you don't believe that the status quo can change if young Cameroonians like yourself calling to interact on this program go out there and secure a voting card for themselves and let that voting card speak on the ballot box? You don't believe in that?
Like I said, I've always been voting. I think this is my third time. If I have to vote for this 2025, it will be my third time of voting, and nothing has ever changed. So I don't believe that is because the oppositions are not vibrant enough to take over the seat. But I believe it is a process. It is a process where it has already been set to be continued. So I don't think there is anything, because every year we hear about registered or registering of voters or whatsoever, but at the end of the day, we still have the same results. So I don't think there is anything to be done as far as ballot box is concerned. So it is a system where it has already been set, and so shall it be till the kingdom come.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Evaristus. Thank you so much for calling. And of course, before the end of the program, if you find the need to recall, then you can do that. But in the meantime, it's a goodbye. Thank you. I want to thank all the viewers for interacting. The lines are still open. If you have an idea that you feel you cannot be expressive enough through a phone call, then all you need to do is just type the message and you can send it on WhatsApp or normal short messaging services, and that is SMS. Mr. Kofo, you wanted to be up to what Chris had said.
Yes, the first thing, you see, like what I'm saying, Mr. Evaristus and Mr. Chris share the same mindset, because they have experienced first-hand failure and they have given up. But the only person who has failed is a person who has given up. Because you can be a Cameroonian, I got quizzes after all your studies in the university, no job, nothing. That is, you can't give up when there is still opportunities. The nation still have a lot of opportunity to offer to you, and the truth is that the political scene has a lot of opportunity. And the politicians have given an information that has made the people who have been coming out to vote, they have been coming out a minority, an insignificant minority. Because some of Evaristus will say he has been voting. After politicians have given the information that the elections will be rigged, there will still election, many people will not come out. So a person of goodwill, you want change and you go out, just fear of you, where the incumbent party have a majority to vote, what is going to happen? Their vote is going to swallow the few votes that are coming. What we are saying, 2025, the youth should register, they should vote, and together we will defend this vote. What has been happening before is that they have not been defending vote. Opposition has never been defending vote. For example, how many times are opposition even more interested when it's coming from municipal and parliamentary election? We get most of the time they think presidential election is the alpha and the omega. We want to say that the House of Parliament that we are underestimating has a lot of power. If you are reading and following up what is happening in Togo now, the parliament has enacted a law that parliament is the one going to be voting the president, not by universal suffrage again. So there is something we must understand here, that we have the power. Our voters card has a long way to go, but we must start it from somewhere, and we must be determined to sacrifice. When we talk about sacrifice, we are talking about sacrifice of time. We are talking about sacrifice of time in politics. I want to say as a supportant or a militant. Okay, that is one of the highest things.
We have another caller on the line. Welcome to the program, Marcus. think there is a challenge in the network. We lost the caller, and if you are watching right away, you can do the program justice by calling again. Yes, Kufo.
That is one of the highest thing a militant can actually give, your sacrifice of time. You cannot call yourself a militant. You can't just vote in a system like now. We are talking that they have to fight rigging of election. Things are going to be put in place. You cannot just vote and go back home to sleep. So when we are talking about defending vote, a lot of things has to be put in place, which political parties in the past have not been lecturing their militants about the way to fight the rigging process. We are not refusing the elections have been rigged, but it can be conquered. Different nations have done it. Cameroon is not going to be an exception.
I mean, a case in point for the nations who have done.
Senegal have done it. We have the president of Senegal. The person who won the presidential seat was locked because of his ideology. Alongside his principal boss, who was to be the candidate, Sonko. Both of them were sent to jail because of their ideology, and they have proven that they are reliable personalities and they have what to offer the state from their academic backgrounds and so many things. So there is hope. But if you have to take the narrative that has been happening and you stay indoors, you don't want to register, you don't want to vote, then as thy kingdom come, like you say it, only thy kingdom will come. Because either a man will do it or spirit will not do it if men are not involved. Men have to be involved for spirits to do it. So if you are expecting God to bring the change there, you must make yourself available for that change to come. So while praying, you should have your voter's card, you should vote, and together you build yourself to defend the vote.
While praying, you have your voter's cards. Hello, and who do we have on the line, please? Hello, who do we have on the line for the program, please? Oh, Mr. Joao from Moyoka. Can you please be a little bit audible so we can get you? No, we don't get you clear. You can go ahead, please. Okay, that's fine. Mr. Joao from Moyoka, we would crave on your indulgence to please be loud enough because we are not getting you. While we await the call of Mr. Joao or any other person who may want to call at this 11th hour, we get your last conclusive remark for the namesake of Mr. Joao. What do you have to say as we keep the program?
Well, as we keep this program goodbye, I will say this to Cameroonians. Nothing great starts from the surface. You have to begin from the grassroots. Today we are praising Senegal and other countries for electing a young guy to rule the country. I believe he did not just start from somewhere. He started from the grassroots, and he has gone through a lot. Cameroonians should learn to read the biographies of most of these young men who have come up and know that what there is a time for everything. This season we are living in is a season where Cameroonians still believe that something good can come out from our nation, and we don't need to give up. Let us go out to vote, choose your parties well, make sure that you believe in the parties and you believe in positive change, and that will be favorable for our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to the CLP spokesperson that we have here, Mr. Humphrey Obasi, what are your conclusive words? And do you think at a certain point you'll be emotional on the panel? Especially when it has to do with the mention of the name CPDM?
Obviously, I have been so emotional because of the negativity and the malgovernance of CPDM taking things at hand. Now, CRP, and I will always praise CRP for his good works that he is doing, because they are out there to see that the Cameroon CRP is out to see how Cameroon can be rebuilt, can be reborn from a bad governance to a good governance. So CRP, I give them a
thumbs up.
Yes, a thumbs up, because they are doing well.
Unlike other political parties.
I don't know what they are doing, because CRP, with what CRP is doing, I appreciate what they do. because I'm sure 2025 will not pass them by.
I appreciate what they do, and of course 2025 will not pass them by. We are very pleased that this program did not pass you by. In case you watched Matters today, this episode has been an amazing episode, a spectacular episode. I mean, a beautiful episode, a tantalizing one at that. I had the most brilliant, the most educated, the most informed panelists who made this program worth the while. They made it, and stirred a lot of insightful debate. And I did learn, as moderator, it's always, an extra advantage for me to come to learn and sample from the minds, the big brains on the panel, as well as you did. Of course, we always beat the odds, take the pains in bringing insightful debate topics and bringing in the right people, the right resourceful people that will come to expound on these topics or navigate us through the hurdles and the beauties of this topic. I've been Mabel Camden. See you tomorrow, same time, same energy, same jet, and we are going to be flying. But up until next, we are going to be joined by High TV's Larry Tengeben, who is going to be telling us what is making rounds as news within Buea municipality, in Cameroon, and of course outside the shores of the nation. Of course, stay tuned to all the programs that are going to be brought to you by High Television. Until we meet again, stick around and stay around. Good night.